Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Boss Rush at PAX West. I'm Corey Dierig. With me, Editor-in-Chief David Lasby of the website. Hi, David.
Happy to be here.
How are you? You enjoying
Day
PAX?
2, I'm a little tired, but I love the grind. This is one of my favorite times of year. So
Yeah, definitely. We have a special guest. Zelda Universe. We had Jess on from Zelda Universe last year. Tradition continues. We have Amanda from Zelda Universe. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yay.
So, you're important on the internet, especially in the Zelda space.
Okay.
Who are you? What do you do?
So I'm Amanda. I'm with Zelda Universe, and I host Zelda Weekly, which is our web series. Had to take a break from it because health problems. My kidneys decided to not cooperate for a while, but starting to get back into that again. And pretty much I just show up and talk about Zelda either at panels or on videos like this.
Well, it's a good thing we were talking about Zelda today because, Echoes of Wisdom is here.
Yes.
Very, I was shocked at how much I enjoyed it because it takes, I love Breath of the Wild, I love Tears of the Kingdom, and I love Link's Awakening. But I'm sitting there trying to imagine how they're gonna take that solve the puzzle any way you want aspect from Breath of the Wild and force it into a top-down Zelda, and it just immediately worked. And my initial impressions were, I think this might work better in the 2D space than in the 3D space. If not, the puzzles may not be as complicated or as grand, but it works, and it works surprisingly well. And so I just kind of want to talk about your impressions of that for a second. And then David, I want to hear what you have to say too, because
Yeah, so
it's not about you, David.
Yeah, so I got to play it yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. I'm really bad at stealth, so I get really nervous anytime stealth, so I kept getting... I did so embarrassingly bad at this. And I think a lot of it was like the tables and the boxes and all the stacking and all of that. I kept in my mind going to the gameplay from Catherine and Catherine Full Body, where the gravity situation is a little different, and I kept going to that kind of gameplay mechanic, and it wasn't working. And then I would stand on something and the guards could see me. I'm like, no, they're not supposed to be able to see me. And then they could jump on a table and come get me.
Oh my gosh.
So then they kept sending me back to the beginning. So I cannot believe my husband and nephew did better at this than I did.
I did not have any guards jump on a table. That would have shocked me.
Jumped on
That's
the
pretty
table.
awesome.
They were coming after me, and I'm like, no, don't do this.
It was. It gave me real Ocarina vibes in both the Gerudo Valley jail,
Yes.
mixed with the sneaking into the castle to see Zelda for the first time, and it really hit harder this time, I think, because we just replayed it for our book club series, and you were on that. But it was just this is giving me nightmares again. I can't be stuck in a jail again.
I can't go back to jail.
Yeah.
Well, and I can jump on that just for a second. What I thought was interesting is definitely the, being in a jail cell trope for Zelda, but also the Link to the Past opening vibes with sneaking around the castle and the guards kind of not behaving normally. And so it kind of just seemed like it combined a lot of the best nostalgia elements from previous Zeldas into a really great demo.
I almost cried playing the demo because I was like, oh, new Zelda game. Because I am pathetic and start crying when I get to a new Zelda game now.
Did you get to the beach area?
Beach area. Hey, did you get farther than me in the demo?
I got to a point where the guy there said, we might have to stop you from playing because there's a spot that Nintendo said you cannot go past.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so I got to the beach area, and he's like, this is where we might have to tell you to stop playing.
Okay.
And so I just ran around this beach for 3 minutes, I found this little green blob hopping around, and I caught it, but it was weird. It was the weirdest thing anybody had ever told me, because I'm not good at Zelda.
I think I just arrived there when my demo blanked out.
Yeah, it was there's one part after the waterfall.
Okay.
And then you go through that part, and then you get to the beach. But yeah, it was the weirdest thing anybody had ever told me.
I never got out of jail.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It was when I say it was embarrassing, it was so embarrassing. boxing, and then I've got like the guy watching it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I swear I'm really not this bad, I promise.
Gonna get your Zelda card taken away.
I felt like I was about to have my Zelda card taken away.
Oh,
I feel like I redeemed myself, though. At least I got my gaming card back when I played NES Championship and like did really well on the Mario boss rush part of it.
Okay, there you go.
I'm going, okay. Yeah. I can do the boss battles of Mario 3.
The other thing I noticed though is that like also recently playing A Link to the Past or Link's Awakening, the remake, the controls and just how smooth everything felt was much better than Link's Awakening.
Yeah, it did.
I noticed that particularly in the 2D side-scrolling moments, like in the water. I mean, anybody that's played 2D side-scrolling water levels in Nintendo knows how imprecise the water movements can be, but in this it felt completely natural. I think there was one moment where you had to use a rock to sink down one of the floating crates, and everything, like the physics just worked the way you would want it to work, and you know, the best thing I can say about it is I didn't find myself thinking about the controls, which is what you want when you're switching perspectives constantly in a, you know, 3D, you know, 2.5D, 2D, back and forth. So
well, is there anything else we want to say about Zelda? I mean, we saw a lot of other games.
I mean, I definitely have a few more thoughts on the demo.
Then please,
you know, you all had a panel about 2D versus 3D yesterday, but I grew up playing the 2D games in the 80s and 90s, and so for me, like, when I think about my Zelda DNA, that's like the most ingrained. And the idea that you can go over the top of boundary obstacles took some getting used to, but in a good way. Like, there was one point in the trying to escape from the jail cell where the guard kept seeing me because I kept trying to hide behind stuff, and finally the person there was like, just go right here over the top, and I was like, oh yeah, I can go over the bookshelf. Like, I don't need to go around it.
It's kind of like Tears of the Kingdom with like the ascension ability. It's like you have to think in a literally a different direction.
Stuck forever in a cave, and you're like, oh, I can just go up.
Yeah, there were so many times where I would be streaming and somebody would be like, Amanda, just look up.
And
and
the fact that like there's a jump button. Like really threw me
without
off
Rock's
too.
cape.
Yeah. I was like,
Rock's
I can actually just like jump on this
that threw
platform
me off
to throw a table on there, and then I can jump up on the table. And I was like, oh man, this is. I just because like you don't think about jumping. I still get thrown off in Tears of the Kingdom when I can actually sprint and jump. You know.
One other thing that I just thought was better than I expected with the demo, I kind of assumed that it would be a one-to-one sort of solution when you're using objects to solve stuff. So like, you know, this ledge requires a large block, or this ledge requires a small table. But what surprised me in the demo, I don't know if you guys had similar experiences, there were varying heights that required me to combine objects. So it'd be like, this ledge is like a table plus a block. And if you didn't do the right combination, you wouldn't necessarily get where you needed to go. And so I think that allows for more nuanced puzzles. And I'm excited to see where the rest of the game really utilizes those mechanics. Because I know the like 2 trailers ago that they released, they had that like grab and pull feature as well. So I imagine you could mix and match those combos to create really interesting puzzles to solve. So I think people are gonna love this.
Yeah, and I think it's like if Tears of the Kingdom, all that, you know, all the building and customization and stuff in there was like really overwhelming, at least for me. Like people are building like Star Wars ships and flying them around and shooting lasers and robots and whatever. But I think like making that concept more simple in the 2D space will actually expand the interesting puzzles, because you got to use these super simple mechanics to like solve the puzzle in many different ways. And I think that makes it more interesting than just like building a robot that blows stuff up to get to where you need to go, you know?
Although those videos they made, you know, being on social media really fun for a couple month period. And I imagine there's going to be some similar humor with this game. Like, I can't wait to see like the ridiculous ways that people solve, you know, a puzzle.
I want to see everybody boxing in the guards and all that, because I was doing that with some of them. Like, okay, I'm going to completely encircle you so you can't get me.
Totally. And I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I noticed a little bit more humor involved in this. Even like some of the little dialogue with Impa and stuff, it was just funny. And I kind of think Nintendo saw some of the humor that people did with ways they solved stuff in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and they brought a little more humor into this game, which I think is very welcome.
Absolutely.
It felt very Paper Mario almost.
Yes.
That's a good way of putting it.
That's a great way of putting it.
Well, I mean, that is what separates Zelda from other fantasy games, is like all that whimsy and humor that's in it.
Yeah.
Like, you lose that, it's no longer Zelda.
Yeah,
absolutely. The whimsy element, that's a great point too. And little like chibi Zelda has so much attitude. I like that turnaround look she has in the latest like featured art is just awesome.
Yeah.
So
so are there any other thoughts on Zelda? Because we did see a lot of other games.
That's it for me. I just love the demo. I can't wait.
Demos. It's still my favorite thing I've seen here. Amanda, we'll start with you. What are some other games that you saw here that you really liked?
So I played Mario Party Jamboree, and that was fun. I mean, it's a Mario Party game, it's mini games, but it was just fun. It was a whole lot of just jumping. I was laughing and yelling the whole time, so I feel like that's a win.
Yeah, Stephanie and Ed and I were all playing it at the same time, and it was really fun. But then you realize, oh, this is Mario Party. We're never gonna play this after this demo sort of thing, unless we're like, oh, we're gonna make it a point to play Mario Party. But I also got Mario Party 10 vibes, where everybody's in the car, and then we're all on jet skis driving down this river, picking our mini games. I'm like, I hope this isn't the whole game, but yeah, the games were fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I played a game there was the Mix Indie Party last night, and I didn't play it, I watched this one. It was called Croak, and some of the artists from Cuphead worked on it.
Oh, okay.
And it was really pretty, it was really cute, it was just adorable. One of the boss battles is you were fighting a beaver that was on a bike. He was a very cocky beaver, and he was riding a bike and doing all these tricks, like he was like a skater or something like that. And you're like the frog prince who got turned into a frog, so it's like the princess and the frog sort of thing going on there.
Okay.
And then I also played a game called Reggie, and it was a longer title, but I know Reggie was the main name of it, and I can't quite figure out what exactly you were, but it was really cute because it had like a lot of anti-gravity things with it, and so you could oscillate the gravity, so you could go back and forth. You could theoretically fly through, but if you do that, then you're going to lose momentum and then fall into like a pit. But it was pretty fun, and it was pretty intuitive. You caught on to it really quickly.
Clever mechanic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. David, what do you see?
Well, one of my favorite things about being at PAX is sort of wandering off the beaten path a little bit and finding devs that I didn't get a press release for and maybe aren't in the spotlight, and learning about a game that nobody's talking about yet. And for me, that was a Seattle area dev who created a game called War of the Western Deep, I think is what it's called. And it's actually based on a 3-part graphic novel that's been around forever in very 90s Disney-style art. And he had been separately a computer programmer for 17 years, and he finally got together with the artist and was like, hey, what if we try to make like a really artistic video game, essentially? And if you think about that concept of can video games be high art, this would seem like it would, because it's just so carefully done. And as a graphic artist, Corey, you might really like it, but it's just beautiful artwork. The game runs in 60 frames per second, but whenever there's cutscenes or animation or fights, they intentionally slow it down to 24 frames per second, because that's what Disney ran in the 90s with their animated films.
Yeah, and their doubled up frames and their painted backgrounds that just kind of
and it just is
this
gorgeous.
One,
it's called, I think it's called War of the Western Deep, and I apologize if I got the name wrong, but without looking on my phone, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I wrote about it, I think, in one of my pieces.
Gotcha. I'm putting a note on here.
It's on that side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely, it's just one of those things that I love about PAX, because here's somebody that doesn't work for a AAA studio, that have this vision of something unique in the space, and they're pulling it off, you know, and it's awesome. So
yeah. One of the cool things I saw here is kind of similar, but there's a high school here, and they built a VR game, and I didn't play it, but I saw people playing it, and it was they were this giant kind of octopus-looking monster, and they were attacking ships and islands and stuff, and I was like, I can't believe a high school.
High school?
Yeah, it's over by the DigiPen stuff.
I've got to check this. Just the idea.
They're right across from the DigiPen
My mind is very
booth.
blown right now. When I was in high school, gaming was frowned upon.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like the computer science class was like a club that they did after school.
That's awesome.
When I was in high school, and now they're like, we're going to teach it from 6th grade on, because my nephew is going into middle school and he's looking at it because he's really into games, and I'm like, do it if you want, but like
we might have led different lives if it was encouraged.
Right. I'm thinking, like, how much could I have thrived? Oh my gosh.
But like just seeing that, and then like the DigiPen booth, and the they just had like a student section of just student teams who have made games, and it was like really cool. There were a lot of cool games over there. I didn't play any of them because they were all taken. I was just kind of making the rounds, but it was really cool to see that kids are still into making cool things, and there are some cool ideas. I saw this kind of almost Star Fox-esque space shooter, but you could kind of like what Ubisoft did with that toy game Starlink or whatever, but like you could like customize and build your Star Fox ship and kind of add different like offense and defensive abilities. And I wish I remembered the name of it, but it was super cool. And it was in that 16, like the Star Fox for SNES kind of style, which was really cool to see young kids appreciating that style.
Well, it's a timeless style. Like, it's one that keeps up. Like, it holds on over the years.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you saw cool, or you want to just wrap it up? Because I know we all got appointments and things to do. And
it's all that's on my mind this morning, but I can't wait to get out there and find new stuff today.
Yeah, same. I definitely want to check out FNAF, because that just looks so much fun. And I've got to check out the Pokemon Play Lab, because I've never actually done that. All the PAXs I've been to, I've never actually gone to that.
Giant lines.
Yeah.
That's why I've never actually done it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Amanda, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for calling me up and having me on it.
Yeah, this will be part of our Boss Rush at PAX YouTube series. It'll also come out as one giant podcast sometime soon-ish, depending on internet speeds here. So stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next segment.